The season 1 finale of Fionna Cake just aired, and I already miss talking about Adventure Time. So to fill the chaos entity-induced void, here is my experience with the greatest episode of Adventure Time. Like every other early 2000s baby, coming home from school every Monday, I would tune in with regular show and Adventure Time. Preferably regular show at the time if I'm being honest. And during this week, the new episode just so happened to be season 3, episode 10, What Was Missing, which immediately begins with Finn smelling Princess Bubblegum's hair. Out of nowhere, Finn, Jake, and all their friends end up getting their pockets ran by a door lord, who then takes all the gang stuff and hides it behind a magic door that can only be opened by the sound of a genuine band. So this one's a music episode, but music is interwoven into the storytelling here in a way that is so seamless that I truthfully believe even those of you who hate musicals can enjoy it, as despite the circumstances, the songs shown in this episode and their lyrics are not used as a plot device to explain what's happening in the episode, but instead are used by our cast of main characters to express and articulate how they feel about each other, giving us the culmination of multiple seasons of build-up in the form of some mighty fulfilling tunes, with the first example of this character development being shown to us from the perspective of Marceline, who, keep in mind, in Adventure Time's first season was introduced as a villain. We learn by the end of the first season that this is more of a facade she's putting on to hide her soft interior, but instead in this episode we see her valiantly attempt to express her inner feeling. With Rebecca Sugar's wonderfully written song, I'm Just Your Problem, we get a glimpse into the relationship dynamic between two characters who before this episode most of us didn't even know knew each other. And despite the fact that on the surface the song seems like a Bubblegum diss track, by its halfway point we find out the song is actually meant to represent Marceline's desire to reconcile with Bubblegum. And despite her obvious communication issues, she really doesn't want there to be beef between them. And for all those of you who say their relationship was just randomly thrown in at the end as fan service, but this being only the 10th episode in the series' 3rd season kind of proves that to be untrue. Then Marceline's song gets thrown off by Bubblegum staring, and Finn tries to smooth over the situation by eating some raw ass ramen noodles. No water, no package, just ramen. But Marceline's black, so she gets something to cook it with, and then Bubblegum starts her mid-attempt at making a song to open the door. But Bubblegum treats her song attempt like a math equation more than as a way to express herself genuinely. So it doesn't really work that well, causing Marceline to hock a loogie at her and Jake to break his viola. Then for a second, it genuinely does look like all this tension is gonna lead to the end of the band. That is until it's time for Finn's attempt, which gives us the song that leads into the culmination of the episode, What Am I to You? Here we also get a chance to see Finn express himself at his most vulnerable. And in the lyrics of the song, he begins to break down and express his frustrations with the fact that none of his friends take him seriously. He asks them all if they question his intelligence and look down on him because of his age, which, going back into the earlier seasons of Adventure Time, is something that really was a prevalent theme then. I think it's definitely safe to say that Adventure Time is a coming of age story, not only for Finn and the other characters in the land of Ooh, but for the viewers as well. The story is just as much about him learning to be a human as it is him learning to be a hero. And in my opinion, the song successfully reflects the confusion and teenage angst that Finn, many others, and myself were experiencing at the time. Finn then uses the chorus of the song to explain to Bimo, Jake, Bubblegum, and Marceline how he genuinely feels about all of them, stating that they are all his best friends in the world and who he wants to be around. Then, because of all this genuineness, the door opens, and our friends end up figuring out that the door lord only took all of their stuff to teach them the power of friendship, but they beat his ass anyway. And then they all realize that Marceline didn't have any stolen stuff. And the episode ends with Marceline getting all giant and chasing down Finn, Jake, and Bubblegum for implying that she just wanted to hang out with them. And I can say without a doubt, this is the episode of Adventure Time that allowed me to understand that this is a one-of-a-kind series. Keep in mind, this is coming from an era where cartoons having character development was still a pretty new thing. So to have each of these individual characters and their mindset explored in such a creative and inventive way really did warm my heart to experience. The seeds planted here set up the storyline between Princess Bubblegum and Marceline for the later seasons I think was done so seamlessly and respectfully for the audience. And I have to applaud the writers for being able to tell us about so much history between these two characters without ever explicitly stating anything. Just the fact that the prized possession Princess Bubblegum lost to the door lord was a rock t-shirt Marceline gifted her she uses as pajamas set open a whole universe of questions and lore for us fans and the story to delve into. And every one of the songs we got in this episode is an absolute banger. I still listen to them all to this day. So if you're a longtime fan of the series trying to get someone new as into it as you are, I would start by showing them this episode.
I come in clutch like a genie. Don't talk unless you need me. You talk too much, you need it. All of my bitches look like models. She in love with me. When we link, it's flashing lights and cameras. Got a